Thanks very much, Jeff, and thanks very much for having us here today, and welcome to everybody. I'll start off just by introducing myself. As Jeff said, I came up here to study at USQ some 21 years ago now. I studied business at USQ, but the reason I came up here was because the cost of living and travelling around in Brisbane had got too expensive, and Toowoomba was a good option where I could live close to the university and rented accommodation was cheaper. So cost of living was something that I understood very clearly because it affected where I could study. When I got here to Toowoomba, I started playing basketball for the Mountaineers and for USQ, and I enjoyed my time in that sport. I actually went back about 3-4 years ago now, and we finished 4th in the season, which was the highest result they've had in a few years, but I don't think it was necessarily any great thanks to me, although I did have a lot of fun. As I said, I graduated in business, I have a diploma in export management, and I graduated from the Public Venue Management School. I've lived and worked in both Europe and Asia, and I've seen what is possible when a society gets things right, when a government starts injecting money in the right places and can make something productive. I've managed and operated lots of different types of business. I ran the commercial services at USQ for 12 years. I've run shops selling jeans, I've sold coffee and sandwiches, and I've been a proud publican as well. I've been an active volunteer in town, and many committees, often to do with harm minimisation, surrounding some of the late night trading that goes on in town, and I've been active in that since 1994, forming the first group. Family is something that's always been very, very important to me. I see family and community as cornerstones of a healthy society, and I believe that we should be enacting legislation that supports families and supports communities to be able to look after themselves. And so I would always encourage any legislation to strengthen and supported that. I want to be a hard-working, can-do member for Toowoomba. I would like to think that I can bring a great deal of enthusiasm and passion to Toowoomba. I love Toowoomba. I've enjoyed very much watching my children grow up here, and I think that with the right government in place, we can make Toowoomba even a better place to live by looking at some of the things that have been lacking. So let's have a look at the overall situation we find ourselves in. We arrive here with Queensland and Toowoomba facing a clear choice. 24th of March will be a clear choice. Either we stay on the same direction, a 20-year-old tired path, where we've got scandal after scandal, broken promise and waste, where we find crisis after crisis is lurched to and from and nobody is held accountable. That's one choice. That's the path we're on. Or we have Campbell Newman and an LNP team with positive plans for getting Queensland back on track and ensuring that we can have the bright future that we all hope for ourselves and for our families. So I'm passionate about making both Queensland and Toowoomba a better place to live. So how are we going to do that? It's easy said. Well, we've got a 5-point action plan, and the plan has been well thought through, and we've got some great policies already released out there at the moment. And the first step in that is we need to grow our economy. And we're not going to be putting all our eggs in one basket. We're not going to be relying on a resources boom to save our bacon and try and pay back the $85 billion debt. We're looking at growing 4 pillars to the economy. We will have agriculture, and we're looking to double agricultural production by 2040. That will be done with research, development and extension, and a Minister for Primary Industries to make sure that we have a senior seat at the Cabinet table focusing heavily on agriculture, as it is a fundamental pillar of our economy. We will also be looking at resources. Resources well managed can deliver great things for Queensland. So that'll be a very important industry and one that needs to be well managed in this region. And we have some good plans around statutory regional planning to ensure that we get the resources mix right. Construction and tourism will be the other two pillars that we'll be focusing on. So we have a broad strategy of making the economy more productive. How are we going to achieve that? Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to be able to lower the cost of living for families by cutting waste. There's countless examples of waste that I'm sure you've all heard of and seen. We have a payroll debacle of $220 million, a desalination plant that's not been used. We've got lots and lots of waste that's been in the system. And we need to find that waste, dig it out, cut it out, and ensure that we can use the savings we make to revitalise our frontline services. We'll be looking to get the frontline services so that we have police out on the beat, nurses on the wards, and government out there working for the people, making sure they're delivering the services they need. What do we need here in Toowoomba? Well, we have a bypass that hasn't been built. It needs a good plan to build, and so we'll be looking to deliver better infrastructure with better planning, and that will include a 4-lane bypass. We also need to take a look at our local roads, some flood mitigation, and a high school out of Highfields. These are all things that will be important for us. But fundamentally, these changes will only happen from the top. You have to restore accountability in government to make these changes work. Strong leadership from Campbell Newman, a strong team for the LNP will be a strong government. We will be accountable for our actions, and we will be making sure that those actions are in the best interest of the people of Queensland and Toowoomba. So if you want to have a 4-pillar economy, on the 24th, you're going to need to take a serious think about how you want to vote. And if you want to change the direction we've been on, and if you want to get Queensland back on track, then you're going to need to vote for myself in Toowoomba North and the LNP. Thank you very much for your time.